Every empire believes it will last forever. Rome believed it. Britain believed it. The Soviet Union believed it. Yet every empire in history eventually collapsed. The question isn't whether an empire will fall. The question is why. For thousands of years, civilizations have risen from obscurity, conquered vast territories, accumulated immense wealth, and dominated the world stage. And despite their differences, they all seem to follow the same hidden pattern. Today, we're going to uncover that pattern. At first glance, history appears chaotic. Empires emerge from different cultures, speak different languages, worship different gods, and govern through entirely different systems. Yet when historians zoom out and examine the rise and fall of civilizations over thousands of years, something remarkable appears. Patterns: the Roman Empire, the British Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Soviet Union. Each followed a surprisingly similar trajectory. They rose, they expanded, they dominated, they stagnated, and eventually, they collapsed. This isn't coincidence, it's a cycle. And understanding this cycle may help us understand not only the past, but also the present. Because while technology changes, human nature rarely does. Every empire begins with a period of extraordinary productivity. People work harder than they consume. Innovation outpaces comfort. Discipline outweighs entitlement. The Roman Republic expanded because it rewarded military service, civic duty, and competence. Britain rose through trade, innovation, and naval dominance. The United States became a superpower through entrepreneurship, industrialization, and technological breakthroughs. During this phase, society is focused on building. Infrastructure expands. Trade networks grow. Education improves. Institutions become stronger. Citizens generally believe that tomorrow will be better than today. This optimism creates momentum. Momentum creates wealth, and wealth creates power. As prosperity grows, the empire expands its influence. Its currency becomes trusted. Its military becomes respected. Its culture spreads beyond its borders. Eventually, the empire reaches what appears to be an unstoppable position. But hidden beneath success, the next phase is already beginning. At the peak of its power, an empire appears invincible. Its economy dominates global markets. Its military controls vast regions. Its political influence shapes international affairs. People look at such a civilization and assume it will last forever. This is where history becomes dangerous. Success changes behavior. The generation that built the empire is gradually replaced by generations who inherited it. The values that created prosperity begin to weaken. Discipline gives way to comfort. Long-term thinking gives way to short-term rewards. The empire becomes richer, but often it becomes less resilient. Many historians argue that prosperity contains the seeds of its own destruction, because the greater the success, the easier it becomes to forget what created that success in the first place. And this is where decline quietly begins. Decline rarely starts with invasion. It usually begins internally. History repeatedly reveals 4 warning signs. The first is debt. As empires become wealthier, borrowing becomes easier. Governments spend more. Promises increase. Future growth is assumed. For years, everything appears sustainable, until it isn't. The second warning sign is inequality. As wealth concentrates among a smaller group, social trust begins to erode. Citizens lose faith in institutions. Political polarization intensifies. The third warning sign is overexpansion. Success encourages empires to take on more responsibilities than they can effectively manage. Military commitments increase. Administrative costs rise. Resources become stretched. The fourth warning sign is complacency. Innovation slows. Risk-taking decreases. People become more focused on preserving wealth than creating it. None of these factors immediately destroy an empire. In fact, many continue appearing strong for decades, but strength on the surface can hide weakness underneath, and eventually, a crisis exposes reality. Contrary to popular belief, most empires do not collapse because of external enemies. External enemies simply exploit weaknesses that already exist. Rome wasn't destroyed in a single battle. Its decline unfolded over centuries. Political instability weakened leadership. Economic problems reduced resilience. Military pressures accelerated the process. The Soviet Union followed a similar path. For decades, it projected strength. Yet beneath the surface, economic inefficiencies, structural problems, and internal pressures were quietly accumulating. When the final crisis arrived, the collapse appeared sudden, but in reality, it had been decades in the making. This pattern appears again and again throughout history. Collapse is rarely an event. It is a process that begins long before anyone notices. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Across thousands of years, civilizations have followed a remarkably similar path. Rise, peak, decline, collapse. The names change, the flags change, the technology changes, but human behavior remains surprisingly constant. Ambition creates success. Success creates comfort. Comfort creates complacency. And complacency creates vulnerability. The greatest threat to an empire is rarely an enemy at the gate. More often, it is the gradual erosion of the principles that made the empire successful in the first place. This is the hidden pattern of history. A pattern visible in Rome. A pattern visible in Britain. A pattern visible in the Soviet Union. And perhaps a pattern still unfolding today. Because somewhere in the world, another great power is moving through the same cycle. The only question is, where are we now? If you enjoyed this exploration of history, economics, and human behavior, subscribe to Hidden Pattern and join us as we uncover the forces that shape civilizations, markets, and the world around us.